Hi, Best Buds. It's Cathy with Cathy's Garden, and I'm so happy that you've joined me today. I started out making clusters. My clusters got bigger. Then I decided, what am I going to do with these clusters? And that's how I came up with making this envelope. So I have made 4 so far. And this one looks just like this. I've got a Sari silk closure with beads on the bottom. And it's just labels and ruffled pattern paper, some bling, and a little bit of lace. And let's untie this. Now I used a ribbon punch right here. And so my Sari silk is secure. And I lined it with some music paper. I also put some gussets on the side so you can really open it up well. A little bit of lace on the top, and I just think it turned out super cute. So let me show you how I made these. I had gotten a bag, a grocery bag recently, and I decided that's what I would use for my base. So I cut off a strip that's about, let's see, I think it's about 2 1/4 inches wide. And it's going to be about 6 3/4 inches long. Let me grab my scissors here. Give this a cut right there. And so 6 1/4, something like this. Alrighty. So that's going to be the base. The next thing that I did was I made some ruffles. Now, if you don't have a machine, you can make these ruffles by just scrunching up your pattern paper. I cut these and it's about, it's almost an inch across, almost. So I made a few of those. I have some labels. I have some big labels. And that's what I started with for my base, are some big labels. Now I did spend a little bit of time and I inked up my labels. So I've got a few big ones right here. So I'm going to just take a second and ink these up. All right, so I used my frayed burlap to ink up my labels as well as my little strip here. Now, I started off doing it this way, and I'm going to continue placing my strip up and down. I used my art glitter glue, and I'm going to use it again. Now, you can use a glue stick if you like that. You use the glue of your choice. And I'm just going to pop these on just here and there. And I'm not really going to have them go any certain direction. I just want to use some of these larger labels. All right, now let's switch to some smaller labels. I have quite a few labels in here since I've been doing this today. This was my project for today. It kind of took me in a direction that I didn't know I was going, but I like the outcome. I think the envelopes turned out really nice. Oh, let's see here. How about if we do this one and let's put it up and down this way. And how about a little tiny one? Maybe something like that. And then, how about this one? Okay. Now at this point in time, I am going to turn it back this way. Putting it this way helps me get things, well, they kind of face this way. And then if I turn it, then I really like the mixture of how it's all turned around. If I tried to have done that without turning it, I'm not sure I would have gotten the same look. I'm just going to add a few more labels here. Maybe something like this. Let's see here. I've got this flower one. Oh, how about this star? That's different. today I needed a project that didn't require me to think a lot. So everything was going great last night, and at about 4 o'clock in the morning, the fire detector thing that you have in your ceilings, it went off. The one in the hall by the bedroom. Well, there was no fire. It just needed a new battery, but that was at 4 o'clock in the morning. My husband was already up, and he put a new battery in. I went back to bed, but it was still malfunctioning. And then the one in the bedroom started acting up. It was like, oh my goodness. Well, needless to say, I never got back to bed. I tried. I was just too wide awake. It didn't work. Even though I was tired, I couldn't go back to sleep. So I've been up since 4 this morning, and I am one of those people that really need their sleep. So I'm kind of going on fumes today, and I needed a no-brainer project. And so this is, I thought I was just going to make clusters, but these clusters grew, and they're bigger, and then it just kind of evolved. So hopefully I'm not babbling too much, and I'm explaining my project to you, because I really do feel like I'm not quite here. If that makes any sense to anybody, if you're a person that needs your sleep and then you don't get sleep, and then yeah, I'm not just dragging, it's just affected my head and everything. All right, so now I'm placing these little ruffles of pattern paper down just for another element. All right, and then let's see, what do I want? I think I'm going to leave it like that. So it's just kind of collaged on top of each other. The next thing that I want to do, I'm going to grab this piece of bling out of here before I totally lose it. Okay. And let's move this out of the way. I'm going to bring in a coffee dyed and pink dyed. I mixed the coffee and the pink dye together. It looks like it's already been folded. Let me grab another one here. This one hasn't been folded. This one's good. Let's use this one. And I took it, now this is 11 inches by 8.5, and it's coffee paper. And I'm going to fold this up about 2 or 3.5. What is it? Is it 2 or 3? I can't even remember. It's 3.5. It's 3.5. So let's fold this up 3.5. That right here. Okay. And then let's turn it. Now let's fold this one down about 2.5. That. Okay. And I am going to need to ink this up. Now only the outside, because we're going to cover the inside with, I'm going to use music paper. I needed something that was big enough that I could cover it up. I'm waiting for ink for my printer, so I couldn't like print something because I've been waiting on yellow. So I'm still waiting on yellow, but I couldn't print anything, so I needed to find something that was big enough to be able to cover my sheet here. All right. That's pretty much done. Let's bring in our little piece here. As you can see, it's going to go right here, but it's not long enough. But that's okay, because what we want to do is we're going to mark where our little, I want to call it a cluster, where it ends, and I'm going to bring in my guillotine, and I'm going to give this a chop. Okay, and then with this piece, what I want to do is I want to fold this in half like this. This one's kind of wide. The others aren't this wide. This must be a smaller envelope. Okay, like this. And I'm going to use this for my gussets that we're going to place in here. So let me highlight this fold right here so you can see it a little better. From this fold, this is the flap fold, and this is the body, the pocket of the envelope. I'm going to cut this at an angle like that, and we're going to place this right here. So I'm going to use my art glitter glue, and I'm going to add my glue onto my envelope, and with the fold side out, so you want the folded side out, we're going to pop in our gusset and line it up with the edge of the paper that we're gluing it onto, and then trim off your excess. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So this is one side. I need to make sure I get this glued down. There we go. Let's glue this one on right here. So adding right here. There we go. Giving it a trim. And then I'm going to make sure this all gets glued down. All right, so now we have our gussets in for our pocket. It's going to go like this. It'll make it easier to get in and out of. I want to take I want to take this one and I want to glue it on the top here. So I'm going to add it just like that on there. I think I added my lace next. So before I glue that on, I dyed this lace at the same time that I dyed the paper, so it matches really well. Which way do I want for the top? I like this way to be the top, so this is the bottom. And I'm going to bring in my hot glue gun. It's a Surebonder high temp, and it has this special little tip. It came with that tip. I did not add it on. It came that way. And using my glue gun, I'm able to continue on with my project without having to wait for the glue to dry. So that's why I really like using a glue gun for my videos. And yes, I have asbestos hands. I've used a glue gun for so many years that I'm able to do that. There is a time and a certain way that you can do that. I wouldn't suggest that for anybody. Alrighty, so now we've got our lace on our little cluster, and our pocket, our envelope, goes like this. And this is going to pop on just like that. So I am going to, this is a little long for my envelope, so I'm going to trim it, and I want to trim it, I'm measuring here. I'm going to lift up my lace, and I'm going to trim it off just a little bit right there. I can pop it into my, no, it's not going to fit into my small one. I'm going to have to bring my larger one in and give it a trim. I've got so much on my desk, you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, got that trimmed. I don't think you'd see that, but I'm going to wipe it off. Now I'm going to glue my cluster onto my flap, and I'm going to use my art glitter glue. So adding my glue here. And then placing my large cluster onto my flap. Like that. Now I have some of these that are coming up and I want to get them glued back down. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to that pattern paper and get it glued down. I need to line the inside. So I have a large sheet of music and I'm going to make sure that I pull out and tuck under my gussets. You don't want to cover your gussets up. At least I think it's easier to do it this way. And this is going to be the top, so I think I like this side. So all I'm going to do is take my art glitter glue. You could use your glue stick if you like to use your glue stick. And I'm outlining my envelope. Just like this, and I'll put some inside. And then I'm going to lay my music paper right on top. Just like that. And then all I will need to do is to trim this out. So with my scissors, I'm going to trim this out. Okay, I think I need to trim just a little bit underneath this lace. Yeah. A little awkward, but it can be done. Okay, got that done. Make sure this all gets dry. Now I am going to actually let this dry just a little bit, and as I'm waiting for it to dry, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink this all up. So I need to ink the inside of my envelope as well as finishing inking the outside. So I'm going to do that. All right, so I've got it all inked up. Now I'm going to fold in my gussets like this and fold this down. And I would like to add a few stamps. I have my post office, that's what I call them, my postal stamps. And I'm going to paper clip this to hold it closed. I've got my black stays on right here. And I'm going to load up my post office emblem. And let's do one right here. And then maybe right here. I'm going to do 3. And then I'd like to use that mark that says you've used that stamp and you can't use it again. Like this. That one's not very dark. Do that one again. There we go. Now I'd like to look at this and see, do I need to add anything else? Do I need any more of the ruffled paper? Do I need another type of label anywhere? Is this how I want this to be? I think I've got one of these already. I was looking for a colored one maybe, but I think everything I have is, yeah, I think this is probably where I'm going to have to leave it. Okay, I'm going to call it good. And I'm going to add a little bit of bling right up here at the corner. So I'm going to use my hot glue gun. Put a little bit of glue there. There we are. And then I have this punch that is a ribbon punch, and that's what I'm going to use for this. I just need to locate the center, and I'm going to make a little dot in the middle here, right there. This won't go in too awful far, but I'm going to place it in as far as it will go. Give it a punch. And it has a little bit of lace that it had to go through. I need to trim that out just a little bit. There we go. We need to glue together our envelope, adding our glue to our gussets right here. So adding my glue right here to the gussets. And then just gluing it together, just like this. A little bit of paper towel to wipe up the excess glue. I see that I need to ink this up just a little bit more right here and right here. Okay, and now let's go ahead and let's put on our tie. What ought to do with them? Here they are. My Sari silk tie from Crimson Heart Studios. And the color is absolutely perfect. Oh, I need to glue that down since my punch kind of freed up some of it. There we go. Just glue that down. And let's bring this around. Oh, I keep going this way. And I'm going to give it a tie. Add a little bit more on this end. Give it a little tie. Okay. And then to just finish it off, I have these pearl beads, and I'm going to use my awl to help me with my Sari silk to go through the holes. And I'm going to tie a knot at the end of my Sari silk. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And there you have it, you guys. A great way to use some large clusters. Let's make an envelope. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. And if you have, please give me a thumbs up. I invite you to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll see you there, guys. Bye now.